Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fantastic YMC Live. I'm so excited to have you guys here. My name is Sarah Newcomb, and we are coming to you from a place that is, I want to say, near and dear to my heart, even though it is my first time here, because we are coming to one of the places that is known around the world as a phenomenal place to grab a beer. And if you know anything about me, you know that I am not one of those women who loves to open a bottle of wine at the end of the day. I love to crack me a beer. So we're in the perfect place for me. We're coming to you straight from BarHop, and our special thanks to Moneris for sponsoring this YMC Live. We're going to have a great time. We are going to be talking all about, yes, what it's like to own a bar, but also we're going to be talking about small business. So if you're a small business owner, if you've been thinking about getting into small business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, this is the YMC Live for you. So I am so excited to be here at BarHop. We're here with one of the owners, one of the operators, and we're going to really dig in on what it means to have your own small business and all of the nitty-gritty details that go into it, because there's a lot, isn't there?
There is a lot, yeah. You have to be on top of it all the time.
You sure do. So why don't you introduce yourself to all of our watchers, and I'd love to hear a little bit about BarHop, how it got started, because let's face it, I think we all know this kind of industry is not an easy one to be in, and you've been in it for a while.
Definitely. I'm Jim McDonald, and we've now had BarHop open for just over 7 years, the original location on King Street. Like any business, it started with a journey, and it was my own journey. I wanted to always be in the bar business. If you talk to people I worked with in the past, they would always say, Jim, you know, shut up about opening a bar, but just do it already. But it definitely was a journey for me. It started out in 2011 where I was on this quest to drink 1,001 different beers in a year.
Let's just stop there for a sec, because that's life goals. Right there, life goals.
Definitely was on the top of my list. So yeah, it took me around all over the place. Back in those days, it was harder to find different beers. So I was traveling to different countries, a lot in the States. I was having people send me beers through the mail so I could keep up with my pace. But during that journey, I met my business partner, and we had a shared vision, and that really led to opening the first BarHop on King Street. We wanted it to be a craft beer focused bar. Again, back in that time when craft beer wasn't really a mainstream name, and we wanted to be the best at it. So that's really what we were striving to do down then on King Street. And then from there, it became popular, and we just felt the need to continue to grow. So we opened our second location on Peter Street, which was a much bigger location, 2 stories, main stories, and then a rooftop patio. There is a microbrewery in there, and then the third location out on the Danforth. So that's how we came to be, and they're all different, but they're all connected. They're like siblings with connected DNA, but they all have something different to give.
Yeah, so we're in Ontario right now, so we're in Toronto, Ontario, but you know, this kind of vibe I've seen all across the country, right? But BarHop has something really special. And you mentioned there are 3 of them, but they're all a little unique, all a little different, but they have kind of this thread that ties them all together. And that's that they have really great beer. And I love that really your mission was born out of some kind of life goal to drink a lot of beer, which I think we can all agree is amazing. But you've really started something phenomenal. So this industry is tough. It's not easy to be in the restaurant or bar industry. So let's talk a little bit about what it's like to own a small business. So first of all, we're at your BarHop that's on the Danforth. So let's talk a little bit about location. How did you choose the Danforth? What's it like to have a bar down on the Danforth?
Okay, yeah, the Danforth was our third location. We definitely wanted to expand out of the downtown core. We were known as a downtown core Toronto business, but we wanted to move to more of a neighborhood. And the Danforth is definitely more of a neighborhood outside of the core of Toronto, has its own unique personality. It's known as Greek Town. It's a vibrant community.
Good food.
Good food, yeah. It's a vibrant community. There's been known as a little bit of a live music scene, which we wanted to play into. We wanted to play a little bit to the family and the community out in Danforth and create that more neighborhood pub versus our downtown location bars.
Yeah, I love it. So you've got your location, you've got your 3 different bars, but you're still a small business owner. I mean, even though you've expanded, you still own a small business. So let's talk a little bit to that and what that's like. As I mentioned, so many people who watch our YMC Lives are small business owners or are dreaming of opening their own small business. What are some of the maybe biggest hurdles that came up in opening or having your own small business that maybe you didn't expect?
I think the biggest thing is there is a lot more going on than you think. It's not just about, I think primary, you want to do something you love for people who love what you're doing. I think that's the key thing, but there's so much going on behind, as any small business owner knows, as far as, licensing within the city or within the province. So those are definitely hurdles. There's a lot more of that paperwork and financial management activities behind the scenes versus just doing what you love. You need to have both going on. So either need to be able to do it yourself, or you need to have a partner that can do a piece of it, with you.
I think that's such good advice because, yeah, you love it. You love craft beer. Obviously, we know I love it too, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that people don't see when you have your own small business. But let's flip that. Let's talk about some of the great things in being an entrepreneur. What are some of the changes? Because I think before you had a bar, you weren't an entrepreneur, correct? So what are some of the good elements of having your own place like BarHop?
Yeah, I think one of the main things is, flexibility for sure. You're busy and you're always on, but you're also in control of your own time to a degree, and you're also in control of the outcome. Like, everything comes back to you. You own it. The buck stops with you. You can't really push it off to anybody else because really, it's your decisions down the line. Even though if somebody else, was involved in something that took you off the rails, you own it at the end of the day, and you need to look at it and change it or fix it. Mm-hmm.
But there's something nice about having that autonomy. This is yours. This is your baby. You have 3 babies. They're all named BarHop, weirdly, but it really is something. There's something special when you get to see your vision and your baby come to life, right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you really kind of feel that pride, and it wells up inside of you, just like if you have a child of any sort. And it's also the people that work with you and work for you as well. Like you really build those relationships, and it really does make you proud at the end of the day that you've created something.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get back to the beer because that's why I'm here. I'm a huge beer fan. I just absolutely love the craft beer scene, and I love that it's become a thing, right? Like, you can actually get great beer in a lot of places. You're one of the originators of the craft beer scene here in Ontario, for sure. So what is your favorite type of beer and why?
I would say I'm definitely more of an IPA drinker, and some of the newer IPAs that are a little more on the juicier side. Really? Yeah, there's certain IPAs that are bitter. Mm-hmm. People will first say, oh, they're bitter, and it's like biting into the rind of a grapefruit. Mm-hmm. But there's other types of IPAs that are like biting into the fruit of the grapefruit, and I like those. They're very easy to drink, they're sessionable, they're very refreshing, so I like those style of beer.
I mean, really. He is our kind of people. Hands up if you love a good craft beer, because he is our kind of people. I love it. Has there ever been one where you've tried it and you don't have to name the name, and you've kind of been like, they made this?
Sure.
Like, I'll never tell.
Sure. Yeah, no, there's always, especially with all the varieties, and there's lots of experimentation out there. All the brewers are trying different things, and sometimes they're just not your thing, and you recognize that. Somebody may like it. The brewer obviously had a vision and was interested in it, but it's not for everybody sometimes. So there definitely are beers out there and styles out there. You got to find your own your own personal
Very
style.
Diplomatic answer. Not at all what I'd say, but I get it. So, as I mentioned, we're here at BarHop. We're on the one on Danforth in Toronto, Ontario. There's 3 locations across Ontario. It's such a phenomenal place. If you are in the area, you have to come check it out. But we touched on something when we were talking when it had to do with finances. Mm-hmm. And you know what? You can be the best at customer service. You can have the greatest eye for design. You can create a beautiful space like you've done here. But when it comes to the end of the day, you gotta get paid. And you need to be able to make it easy for your customers to pay you and for you to receive the funds. And so in your case, you decided to go with Moneris. So talk to me a little bit about why you made the choice to go with Moneris.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's your small business is your livelihood. You're connected directly to it. So money is important for sure. And when it comes down to a decision around Moneris, for me, it really was about reliability and security. You know, more and more people are using cards today than cash. This business used to be a very cash-heavy business. Now it's rare that we see a lot of cash. So, you know, for me, I need that confidence to know that when a person uses their card, that I'm going to see that money, that there's not going to be any hiccups. So it's that security and that confidence that I'm going to see that money, because as any small business person will tell you, that money's probably already earmarked or potentially spent. So it needs to be in that bank account because you may have already written a check with the idea that that money was going to be there. If something goes wrong through that electronic process, potentially that could result in you know, a bad blood with a supplier, or you know, something.
Any kind of hiccup, right?
Any kind of hiccup. So yeah, you definitely need to have that confidence that you're going to get your money on time, that the promise that's been made by your provider is a promise kept.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Moneris has done. We've had the best time here. Like, honestly, I've had the best time, not just because I love this space, I love what you do, but I feel like I've learned so much from you as well. You've really created something amazing, and it's been so fantastic to be here with YMC Live and learn a little bit about your journey as a small business owner, learn a little bit about what other people could potentially do or expect if they open their own small business, and learn a little bit about craft beer. Now, you don't just serve beer. Of course, you have food, and I can smell it. So, yeah, we want to go, right?
I'm hungry. I need a beer as well.
I love it. Well, thank you all for joining us. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you share this video. Leave us a comment. You can even tell us what your favorite craft beer is, right? And thank you again to Moneris for sponsoring this very educational and very fun YMC Live. Again, I'm Sarah Newcomb. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time right here.